Remember Lola Odujiri, the Nigerian pilot who made history as the first African pilot to fly solo around the world.
But he's not done making history, and of course that is the big thing at this time. This time he, together with his team from out of Nigeria, rode miles from Lagos to Mambilla Plateau in Taraba State. 7 of them actually started out on that record-chasing adventure, but only 3 completed it. But why did he decide to take on this expedition? Lola is here, and of course, with his co-riders. Lola Odujiri, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Very good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening. Bamidele Fademiluyi, good evening. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
And of course, Adebiyi Olafusi, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
All right, let's start with you, Lola. Months back, of course, earlier this year, we talked about how you broke records flying solo across the world. And now you're doing this at this time. You were talking to us about some of the experiences. So first off, why this and how did you get involved?
Okay, I thought I was done, to be honest with you. But naturally, I think adventures never get done. They're always looking for the next quest. I promised the wife, the family, I was going to stop for this year, and then I received a phone call from a very good friend. His name is Tony Adebola. And Tony has been doing something very remarkable in this country. Last year, they went to Ilorin, to a correctional facility, and organized sports day for kids on the reform. And what he does, he's the group of bikers, and they basically showcase the greatness of Nigeria, landscapes, heritage, etc. So he gave me a call and said, Lola, I have a challenge for you, should you choose to accept? And I was like, what could this be? And he said, I'd like you to ride with my team from Lagos to Taraba and climb the highest peak in Nigeria. I said, oh, where's the highest peak in Nigeria? He said, it's in Taraba State, almost 8,000 feet. And I thought, that sounds good. So that was how I got here. So I took the bait, I took the challenge.
All right, so Bamidele, you represent out of Nigeria, right? And then, okay, but you tell us then what the experience was like. Now that we understand that you guys just returned minutes ago from this wow trip. Now,
Odyssey. Let's call it Odyssey.
Right? Yeah. I like that. So you tell us, Bamidele, what the experience was like, you know, bringing Lola on board.
Yeah, bringing Lola on board was great. Also because you know, he's someone who likes to push his limits. You know, we embraced this journey sometime last week. We departure on October 1st to celebrate Nigerian independence, okay. And our first stop was in Osun State, you know, award UNESCO
World UNESCO Heritage Site.
Thank you very much. World UNESCO Site, the Osun Grove. Then from there we carry on towards Taraba State, Gashaka Gumti, where we're well received by the locals there, especially the National Park Rangers, you know, because we have started a collaboration with them based on showcasing Nigeria and based on showcasing our own natural resources, yes, but in this case, we're not talking about oil, we're talking about the beauty of our forest and the conservation of our forest. As Lola mentioned earlier, yes, this journey was up to 2,700 kilometers, and we got to 2,300 meters of altitude on Mambilla Plateau. I'm sure that you know, who has read a bit of geography knows about it. It's a beautiful landscape. I will advise you to go there, have a look.
Fantastic.
It's really out of this world.
All right, it's quite impressive even hearing you talk about it. Let's come to you now, Adebiyi. We understand that about 7 of you started the journey from Lagos, but somehow just 3 of you are here with us now from that journey. Tell us how difficult it was, the challenges you experienced, and how you were sleeping at night.
It was wonderful. Quite an expedition, an adventure. Well, it wouldn't have been an adventure if we didn't have incidents like that. Well, our Nigerian roads are really wonderful.
Very wonderful.
We had some really nice roads and then some other challenging ones. And then a lot of thousands of kilometers. traveling every day, riding every day, going from city to city. It was really challenging and beautiful. I loved it. It was my first time of going around Nigeria like this. We went in style, and I really love it.
Was it your first?
Riding?
Yeah, with this experience.
This experience going around Nigeria?
Yes.
Yeah, my first.
Oh, all right. And then how would you, Lola, now let me get back to you now. So you're panning through states and then you arrive at your destination, Taraba State, of course,
yes,
that has all the beauties, yes, indeed. But then how would you advise people? We've had people walking from state to state back then in solidarity with Buhari and all. We have people having to make statements, you know, walking from state to state, doing what you're doing now. But what stands your group out this time around?
I think, to be honest with you, the key thing that makes this different is, first of all, this morning I was watching TVC. I love watching TVC.
Wow, thank you.
And you were talking about equality. Having, I won't call it disabled, I'll call it physically challenged people within politics, women within politics. So the key thing in this ride was having Lawan. There's been a big campaign on radio, traffic news about the team out of Nigeria riding with a physically challenged guy. His bike was modified. Now, when we got to Taraba, you needed to see the reception. The emir actually invited us to the palace. The reception was amazing. So I think what was very impressive about this was riding with someone physically challenged. Now, our motorcycles could do about 200 kilometers an hour. We wouldn't go that stupid, we wouldn't go that crazy, we were taking our time. But the most challenging part of it was riding with a motorcycle that had a top speed of 60 kilometers an hour. So the discipline behind Lawan. And when we got to Taraba, you needed to see the smoke that was coming out from his bike. And the poor lad had more tenacity, it was more resolute than the rest of us. So the message here is, right, there's no one that can't do it. A physically challenged person isn't physically unfit. He needs an enabling environment and the support from the likes of us to get them to the finish line. So he was the Superman, he was the star of the day, Lala. That's what made us stand apart.
All right, so what kind of messages really are we pushing out when you have things like this, every time expedition like this, or Odyssey as it were, there should be a theme, kind of, that this is what we want to achieve by this, and of course you want to use it to change something?
Exactly, yeah. We are trying to create awareness about our country. That's why it's out of Nigeria, because we are like showcasing and we're like bringing things out of Nigeria. You know, we are showing the beauty aspect of our country, you know, the beautiful aspect of our country. The message is to inspire the youth to go out, to explore, to know what we are having, what we have around us, you know, rather than every time to travel out, go to Dubai, go to Europe, you know, for holidays, go to America. We're having
a lot of beautiful
locations, you know, and you can spend our currency. We talk our language, we learn about our heritage, we learn about who we are, and also most important, we also learn how to preserve our environment, you know.
All right, but talking about Taraba has made the news lately for, you know, violence, the herdsmen clashes. It's a nightmare for many people traveling across expressways, and Taraba is no exception. So, B, what did you manage to escape? And did you guys have any form of, you know, interaction with them? Perhaps, you know, to do your best in dousing the tension.
I would like to say this to you. First time of mixing with the Fulanis, also Fulanis. They are wonderful people.
Yeah.
You know, we have a few radicals. We never had any experience of violence. We were not attacked. They welcomed us. They were really nice to us. They were friendly. In fact, we're planning to build our houses there, buy lands and build houses there.
They heard us, the ones
we saw them, all of them on the mountains. The real Fulanis. We went as far as the border of Nigeria with Cameroon, you know, and we met them. I was really glad they were really nice to us. So I believe that the image of the Fulanis are being destroyed by just a few. The people there, Nigeria is one. We should stay as one, because these people are beautiful. They are lovely people. You know, they were really friendly to us anyways. That's what I'd like to say.
It's quite impressive hearing that. You want to say something?
Yes, please. I would like to say about the misconception. that we're having about our country. You know, we have we're well exposed. You know, some of us traveled out. We know, and eventually we have most of the time we have this challenge, thinking that Nigeria is dangerous. Taraba State is dangerous. Let me tell you, go out. Yeah, maybe it requires some attitude and courage, but go out, find out yourself, because this misconception, I think that is not what I've been told. It's not every time like, I mean, it was wonderful, really. And I must say that their hospitality, their level of hospitality, it's different.
That's why Out of Nigeria project like this is meant to unite the people and bring them together.
Exactly.
So let's hear about, first off, is this going to be a one-off project kind of? And
no, not at all. This
what's
is
next?
Now what next? What's next? Cooking. We have just finished this. What's next is to edit and is to produce the documentary.
Or what's next is to rest, because
exactly.
I see BU with his what did you call that again?
It's a hydration
pack.
Oh, okay. So I asked earlier, are you still like relying on that, or that's off now?
I'm not relying on it. When I will ride, I will take a rest. Instead of me having to look for water, I have a water
So
pack.
that's handy, and every other person had that.
We've all got it, yeah.
So
Essential.
how often were you stopping over? Before you say that, I asked you what next, because many would have expected you to say, okay, yes, this time around, maybe next year we'll do something more, because uniting Nigeria, especially at this time that there are kind of many issues causing a lot of attention.
So surely what next is to invite also our friends from abroad, you know, who are also passionate towards motorcycles and motorcycle adventure, to partake into this kind of initiative. Last year we had Heroes in Helmet, where we circumnavigate the perimeter of Lagos State, and a very good friend of ours, Ron Grace from Colorado, came down, and he also was amazed about the beauty of our country.
Right.
So really, yeah, our mission is to show the people to the people that Nigeria, it's a beautiful place, and we want to keep it together, and we want it to be beautiful.
But then, Lola, now I'm sure you would say it was an honor, you know, doing this unique thing with the Out of Nigeria team. But of course, we know you've blazed the trail, and now this one. So the question of what next now would also, what's next for you?
I'm gonna come back to announce to you what I'm doing next. You're gonna be amazed.
Oh, you're planning something new?
I'm planning something big.
You don't stop, do you?
I cannot stop, unfortunately.
So what's that about?
I might as well just tell it to you now. I'm planning on breaking the all-time altitude world record. What that means is I'll be flying a single engine airplane to approximately 60,000 feet, and I'll be working with NASA.
Where would you be covering?
Sorry, say that again?
Where would you be covering?
Well, no, it's just an altitude and the same spot.
Straight up.
I keep circling around in a spot till I get to the highest peak.
60,000.
Take a very beautiful picture. I could almost about picture the curvature of the Earth.
And by working with NASA,
in an electric plane, so.
Well, and by working with NASA, this means that you're getting the kind of attention you want. Because the last time we spoke about this, when you traveled around the world, you were not pretty much encouraged by the international institutions.
And I guess it goes with everything. It's the tenacity that differentiates you from other people. The zeal to keep going. This time around, I'm going to have to wear a pressure suit designed. It's going to be loaned to me, by the way.
By the NASA guys,
yes, hopefully. Right. So, so look out for it. I will definitely come in.
Right.
All right, guys. Nice talking with you. We congratulations now, because not many begin trips like this, you know, and hold this feat now to continue. But congratulations, Lola, Dele, and BU. Of course, thank you very much for joining us from the Out of Nigeria team. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah.